Oliver Coppard, you were elected as South Yorkshire Mayor last year. Do you have enough power?
No, I don't think any mayor in the country would say that they've got the powers, the control, the money that they would want. And I'm in that same boat. I think we're in a moment, aren't we, with devolution, where we're seeing the two main parties, certainly the Labour Party, competing for what more we can do for communities by devolving power to places like South Yorkshire. So I definitely want more power, more control for my community so we can do more in South Yorkshire to address the challenges that we face, like so many other parts of this country.
You are the first and only Jewish mayor. What does that mean to you? Do you feel like a trailblazer?
No, well, first and foremost, I'm South Yorkshire's mayor. So, of course, I'm proud that now I can stand both as a Labour mayor and a Jewish person in this role. And I am proud of that. Of course, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my community. I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of my family's story. But ultimately, I'm here to serve my community and try and fix the problems that we face. And so my faith, my ethnicity is not really the dominant factor in that. Of course, I'm here to serve everybody. But yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm absolutely proud of it because my family's story was a difficult one. So getting to where I am now, I hope, I've made my family proud.
Tell me about your family story. Why was it difficult?
So look, my gran came here from Czechoslovakia. She was smuggled out of the country, essentially. We had family who worked on the railways and she was smuggled out of the country. My granddad was from Vienna. He was finishing his medical degree when before the hostilities started, but when things started getting difficult for Jewish people, he got out on a visa. My parents were reunited in this country and then were interned on the Isle of Man and then built their lives here in the UK. They both became teachers. My grandfather never finished his medical degree, couldn't finish his medical degree. They both became teachers, serving their community first in Halifax, then in Birmingham, I believe. And my parents, my mum became a teacher, my auntie became a teacher, my sister's a teacher. So I think, we've got a history of public service, I hope, in my family. And I think that comes from my family wanting to give back to this country, to our communities, because ultimately this country gave my family safe haven when not a lot of people would.
Have you ever been subject to anti-Semitism?
I have. I've had death threats because of my religion, my ethnicity. I've had things said to me on social media. I'm fairly thick-skinned. I don't particularly take much of that very seriously. I think we're facing a difficult time in this country because of anti-Semitism. Jewish people, Jewish communities, I think, are acutely aware of a rising tide of anti-Semitism, not just here, actually, to be fair, across the world. The Labour Party certainly struggled with anti-Semitism. Indeed, there have been instances, I have to say, of anti-Semitism from presenters on this channel. And so it is difficult for Jewish people. But frankly, I don't let it bother me. I don't let it stop me from doing what it is I think I'm here to do, which is serve my community and try and fix some of the problems that we face.
Did you see allegations of anti-Semitism on presenters on this channel?
Well, look, I've certainly heard things from presenters on this channel. I've heard them say things which I would consider to indulge in anti-Semitic tropes. And it's not the only place where I hear that. I hear that all over the place. And I hear that on social media. I hear that from people who you wouldn't always expect.
Those people would deny.
I'm sure they would.
For the record.
I'm sure they would.
We welcome freedom of speech, and of course, you are free to say that. So you stood to be a Labour MP in Sheffield. You stood against Nick Clegg. You came close to winning the seat. You did that in 2015. You didn't stand in 2017 when Labour actually did win the seat from Nick Clegg. Why didn't you stand again?
I'd committed. I had a job. So I stood for election. I was a candidate for 2 years, 2013 to 2015. It's my home seat, Sheffield Hallam. It's where I was born and raised. Born here, raised here, working to be your next MP was my slogan. And I was very proud of that campaign. I think we ran it in the right way. It was a community-based campaign. We had hundreds of volunteers in a place that had never had a Labour MP before. And yeah, we ran Nick Clegg really close, and I'm very proud of that. But in 2017, my life had moved on. I'd actually moved to London. I'd got a job working for a charity, giving books away to kids. And I promised my boss, she'd asked me, are you just going to run away at the first opportunity and go and try and be an MP again? And I'd said, absolutely not, because I took Theresa May at her word. She'd said there was going to be no snap election. I believed her. And quite honestly, I wasn't sure that I wanted to go into Parliament after the experience that I'd had. It was brilliant. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. But politics has never been the be all and end all for me. It's something that's been, I think, in me all my life, but I haven't always been in politics.
I read that you didn't stand because you could not stand under Jeremy Corbyn because of the anti-Semitism crisis in the party at the time.
Well, in 2019, I made that choice. So I publicly said I didn't think I could, in good faith, put myself forward to be a Labour MP when the Labour Party was not tackling the anti-Semitism that we saw so clearly in our own ranks. And I couldn't put myself up and genuinely stand on a doorstep, knock on a door, and tell people at that point that in good faith, I thought there were no problems with anti-Semitism or that the Labour Party had tackled the issue sufficiently well. So I made that clear, I made that public, because I did think we still had a long way to go. And I'm really pleased that now, as I say, look, I'm a Labour mayor in South Yorkshire. I put myself forward to be the mayor of South Yorkshire for the Labour Party, because I do think that we have come a long way in a really short space of time. There is always work to do. But Keir has stuck to his word. Keir Starmer has stuck to his word. And he has, I think, ripped out anti-Semitism by its roots in the Labour Party. And that's hard. That's a hard thing to do. And Keir has, I think, been true to his word. It is always easy to tell people you don't like, your opponents in politics, that they're doing the wrong thing. It's harder, much harder, to tell your friends that they're not doing the right thing. I'd like to think that's what I did in 2019, and it's certainly what we're now doing in the Labour Party as a matter of course. It is not okay to be anti-Semitic, and it's certainly not okay to be anti-Semitic and be in the Labour Party.
Now, you've made tackling health inequalities in South Yorkshire your big priority. Tell me about those inequalities.
So look, South Yorkshire has, like loads of places actually, has dreadful health inequalities. A baby born in Rotherham today is likely to lead a life that is 5 years shorter than a baby born in Richmond in London. There is a 20-year healthy life expectancy gap. So when you get too ill, frankly, to work, all too many people in South Yorkshire reach that stage about 55, 56, 57. In our wealthier parts, the wealthier parts of our communities, 75, 76, 78. So those health inequalities have plagued South Yorkshire. We're a post-industrial community. In all too many parts of South Yorkshire, there are long-standing health challenges. And for all too long, we put it in this box marked too difficult, too hard to fix. And I'm determined that we're going to take it out of that box and try and do something about it. The month that I became mayor, I was 40 years old, and one of my best friends from school, the most talented runner of his generation, I don't think that's an exaggeration, he was a Somali refugee, came here when he was 9, it's called Idris Ahmed. And he used to post faster times than Mo Farah at the same age. He won the South Yorkshire Cross Country Championships, starting in the changing rooms when everybody else had already started the race. He came second in the country, not doing a day of training in his life. And he died the month that I became mayor. And he was one of my best friends. And that is a story that is all too common for all too many people in places like South Yorkshire. And so, yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard. But we're going to try and
why did he
fix it.
die? How did he die?
He had a heart problem. He had a heart problem when he was a kid. It's one of the reasons why he stopped running, because his family couldn't navigate the systems and services that all too many of us take for granted, albeit maybe not at the moment. But the NHS is there to serve us all, and yet all too many people can't access it in the way that they should be able to. And so Idris's family were one of those families that couldn't navigate the NHS, didn't get the help and support that they needed, the help and support that he needed. So he never got the treatment that would have, I hope at least, I think, have stopped him from passing away at such a young age. He left behind kids who I still know. He was a talented athlete. He had his problems, but he was a talented athlete, and he should have been a world-class athlete who went to the Olympics and represented our country, and yet he died. And that is not a common story, but it's certainly not a story that we don't hear from other people in South Yorkshire and other parts of our country, because health inequalities are endemic in all too many of our communities. And so I have said South Yorkshire is going to be the healthiest region in the country. That is not a small goal. That is a massive challenge. It's going to take a system-wide effort for us to try and hit that goal. And it probably won't happen in my time as mayor, but I can certainly start us on that journey, and I can certainly lift that problem out of the too hard box.
Oliver Coppard, South Yorkshire Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you.